Good morning, people, and welcome back to Spill the Tea, Lou. My name is Lou, and we have reached yet another international break. Now, maybe some of you enjoy the international break. I know maybe England does quite well. If you're not from England, maybe your team enjoys the international break. Mine does not. Therefore, the international break is essentially me watching some tumbleweed go across the street because there's nothing to see here in Ireland. But anyway, we are in fact the morning after the night before. Obviously there's all sorts to talk about from the weekend. The PGMOL are under fire, shock. There's been some contentious decisions, shock. But what I want to ask, is this the most competitive Premier League that we have had, certainly in recent memory? Because obviously last year, we kind of knew who the winner was going to be from Christmas onwards. This one seems to be just getting started. Now, we are 11 games into the season, so I don't think we can say anymore, oh, it's too soon to say anything. No, 11 matches is enough to get a feel for what's going on. And what's going on is chaos. And I love it. Isn't this what we want? We want the table moving around. We don't want the usual suspects at the top of the league, and we definitely don't want 3 up, 3 down. Well, I think Sunderland are seeing to that at the moment. So as the table stands going into this international break, we have Arsenal at the top with 26 points, and after yesterday's match we have Manchester City in second with 22 points. We then have Chelsea in third at 20 points and Sunderland in fourth with 19 points. And I would just like to say, I did a video on Sunderland a few weeks ago saying, why are we not talking about them? Are they not glamorous enough? They're in their spot because they've earned it. And here we are a few weeks later and they are holding on to that spot in the top 4 and they are behind Chelsea by 1 point. So I don't think we can keep discounting them. Now, what I will say is we go from Sunderland on 19 points in fourth all the way down to Everton in 13th with 15 points. So between 4th and 13th, we have a difference of 4 points. We have multiple teams on 18 points in there, including, I believe, my own. But that just shows one match, not even one win, one draw, one loss, and you are adrift because it is so close and so competitive. And you know what it is? It makes every weekend so exciting. It makes every match so exciting. It shows us that every single point matters. It also tells us that sometimes when a team wins and they win the league with like way more points than everybody else, it doesn't necessarily mean that that was a really good league. It means that that league maybe wasn't as competitive. Whereas if Arsenal or City or whoever it's going to be this season wins with less points, that's because this league was really competitive. It's because people were taking points off each other all over the place. But it is not just at the top of the league and in the top 4 race that it's close like this. If we look at Newcastle, we're going to talk about them this week, in 14th with 12 points, all the way down to Forest in 19th with 9 points. So we then have between 14th and 19th a difference of 3 points. And obviously we're well into the relegation zone there. Now, I've kept Wolves a wee bit separate there, bless them, because they've still only got their 2 points. It's not going well. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because everybody's so competitive. There's like literally 1 point, 2 points in it. And then all the way down there on 2 points. It's not going well. Now, I did a video recently on Wolves, obviously their whole situation. They're bringing Rob Edwards back into the club. That's all come out now. And I'm just wondering if he's going to have a touch of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about him. Rob Edwards played for Wolves. He was also a youth coach at Wolves at under 18s and under 23s. He knows the club inside out. He's going to bring that bit of he's one of us momentum. It might have that little touch of magic because we know in football, things don't always have to make sense. Sometimes it is just about the emotion. So let's keep a watching brief because frankly, at 2 points after 11 games, he would have to work an absolute miracle. But stranger things have happened. What I would say, the bottom 3 clubs at 11 games in have all changed their manager. So Forest got Deitch in October, West Ham got Nuno in late September, and now we have Rob Edwards coming into Wolves November time after international break. So that's going to be really interesting to start seeing what happens there. We do have Eddie Howe under pressure, I would suggest, at Newcastle because they're just capitulating. But let's go back to the top. We're all week to work all the way through the table. We're going to talk about these teams. We're going to do a deep dive on them. We're going to look at them all in focus. But as it stands, I just want to take a quick look at the top. I don't like to talk about them too much because Manchester United's not up there, but we have to. They're in the league. It is the bit that people worry about, so we do have to talk about it. Arsenal have failed to win the trophy 5 out of 5 times that they have been top of the league at Christmas. Now, we're not quite at Christmas, but we're not a million miles off it. The last time that they failed to win from top of the league at Christmas, it was Manchester City that came up behind them and stole the trophy. So, is this Arsenal season? Have they learned from that? Have they evolved from that? Have they become a more mature team since that? Are they ready to dig their heels in and win these matches? Is this defence that they have absolutely built their season on going to be able to do it for the whole rest of the season? Because if they can, it won't matter what Manchester City do. If Arsenal keep winning their games, they won't be able to be caught. It's that straightforward. And their defence this season has been excellent. The other side of the coin is, we know Manchester City can do this. We have seen them do it. Last season, they were off the boil. The start of this season was definitely shaky, but we've seen them do this before, where they start slow, they're underwhelming, and then once it clicks, they're like a steam train, and they take out everything in their path. So, I have seen online several Arsenal fans saying that they would prefer to be in a title race with Liverpool because they would be less confident of Liverpool catching them than City. They believe City has a better chance of catching them than Liverpool. And considering Liverpool, after this weekend, are now a point adrift of Manchester United, who are terrible, I would suggest those Arsenal fans might be correct. So, the next team we have to look at is Chelsea. Chelsea are only 2 points behind Manchester City, and both Manchester City and Chelsea have won 4 out of their last 5 games. So they're going into this international break on the same form. Is it starting to click at Chelsea as well? And are we going to have a 3-way race for the title? Or is Chelsea going to fall away after the international break? Is it going to ruin the momentum that they've just started to build? And it's going to be Arsenal and City. What do you think? The thing about Chelsea is, before the season, I had high hopes for them, as I think many people did, because they've been working on this process for some time now. They've been getting these players in, they've been finding out which ones work, they've been removing the ones that don't fit, and they've been replacing them. So they've been honing this team and refining this team for several years now, and I felt that it was probably time that they were going to be at least in contention for a title, because at what point are they, it needs to kick on. They've been doing this for years now. Then as the season was going on, I've seen several discussions, I've been part of some of them, where people are saying Chelsea have been underwhelming so far this season. They're not meeting the expectations that people had for them. Something still isn't quite right. But as I said, now they're at a point where they're actually going into this international break with the same form as City. So, have they turned a corner? Or, because we know City have done this before, we've seen City do this before, it's more believable than Chelsea, who haven't been in the mix for quite some time. Let me know your thoughts. As I said, we're going to get really into it this week. We've got loads of time to talk about everybody, but I just want to get your immediate feelings after the weekend fixtures. How do you feel about international break? Is it spoiling the momentum, or does it give teams a chance to regroup, reset and hit the ground running then in the run up to Christmas? What team do you support? Do you feel you're in a title race? Are you trying to get out of the relegation zone? Is this the most competitive league we have had in years, and are you enjoying it? Please smash a like on the video, please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you all very soon.